Hello everyone! Welcome back to another Warhammer multiplayer video. This is going to be a 1v1. Now, a couple days ago there was a suggestion to pick the greenskins and bring a build of basically all the units that you never see for the greenskins. Like a Goblin Wolf Chariot, Orc Arrow Boys, Knight Squig Hoppers, Savage Orc Boar Boys, you know, things like that. And initially I was like, well, that's just suicide. But you know what? I enjoy challenges. I enjoy being dumb. So I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So I also brought Azhag the Slaughterer, because you never really see that dude anymore. I am facing off against greenskins as well, but he is going to be leading the Unwanted, which the Unwanted is a front line of 4 Savage Orcs. 2 Savage Orc Biggins are mixed here on the flanks. Behind them we have 2 Orc Arrow Boys, a unit that I don't think I've literally ever brought. One group of the Trolls. Over here we have 2 Savage Orc Boar Boys. We have 2 Goblins with mounted on their spiders, because I had to have something. Give me something. Then behind them we have a group of the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. I think this is the first time I'm actually bringing these little Night Goblin Devils. And then in front of them, I have a group of the Goblin Wolf Chariot, one of what I believe to be the worst units in this entire video game. Maybe second only to Balthazar Gelt. I think this unit is absolutely garbage, but we brought it because it's part of the Unwanted. And then way up here, the Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, because that was also suggested to bring because no one brings these. Now, I opted not to bring the Renowned version because, well, those would be just too good. The Renowned version actually is armor piercing, and they are very usable units. I mean, these are too, but not nearly as usable as the unit of Renown is. Then, for my enemy player here, though, they brought 4 Savage Orcs, 3 Giants, 2 Orc Biggins, an Orc Warboss, Orc Goblin Shaman is over here, 2 Goblin Big Bosses on their spider mounts, and I think that's it. So I think my enemy here was thinking I was going to pick a Black Orc build, because the Savage Orcs have 0 armor, right? And so when they get hit by a Rusty Arrow's Sundering ability in melee, with their missile damage there, they're not affected by it really, because they have 0 armor already. So I'm thinking, especially with 3 Giants and a bunch of Savage Orcs, that they were going to counter a Black Orc build, which I didn't bring. So this turned in from mostly a guaranteed loss to maybe we have a chance, because if this was a front line of 4 Black Orcs, that'd be near, like, that would be like, I don't even know. I don't even have anything to say about that. That would be terrible for me. And I thought that was what was going to happen. But the way I play these builds, I pick them. I know what I'm going to do going into the match. No matter what I'm facing against, that's the build I'm going to play. And when I saw the greenskins, I was like, well, shit. I'm going to be fighting off against Black Orcs, and this is going to be a really, really uphill battle. But as it stands, since this opponent went a opposite or anti-Black Orc build, again, I think that's what they were going here. I think I actually may have a chance, because my Savage Orcs can do some damage to their Savage Orcs. I do have 2 Orc Arrow Boys that I can focus down Giants. So I'm like, you know what, maybe we got a chance here. So I deployed my army slightly back over here because I wanted to use Azhag's Spirit Leech against their Warboss and force them to use their potion early, of which they have potions, by the way. And I can't really get too close to the Giants, which is the target I really wanted to shoot with my Goblin Wolf Rider Archers over here, because they do have Rusty Arrows nearby, and any kind of foot archer is going to decimate your Missile Archer Cav, especially Goblin Wolf Rider Archers. So I'm just going to take some shots over here at this Orc Biggin. 1 of 2, they are deployed on each of the flank. I think the Biggins here were the anti-Cav unit for this particular build that my enemy has brought. That is our 2nd Spirit Leech, I think that's going down in the Orc Warboss from Azhag. And I'm going to stop our army right in here because I want the Giants to come fight us at least in part of this forest, because they will receive a massive penalty to their melee attack, movement, speed, and defense. I know at least melee attack for sure. So the Goblin Wolf Chariot and the Spider Rider Archers, the Goblin Wolf Rider Archers are just continuing to deal some damage to these Orc Biggins. Azhag is going to do a quick charge on the Rusty Arrows because they were left a little bit behind the rest of the army, and they were going to try and get out of here as the Orc Warboss comes in. We do not want to get any damage on Azhag. He does not have potions to heal through it. Orc Arrow Boys are opening fire up on these Savage Orcs, which can take a lot of missile fire, but my main goal for these the Orc Arrow Boys is to hit these Giants when they come into range. That's what's going to happen. Now here, I kind of lucked out fighting the greenskins. The Goblin Wolf Chariot, its mass is really low, and in most cases it can't do against almost any unit, but besides other goblins, because goblins are such a low mass unit anyway. So in this case, I put melee on these Goblin Wolf Chariots, and I was like, go for it, guys. You actually have what it takes to go through some goblin Rusty Arrows, so they're gonna actually be messing around the Rusty Airs for a little bit. I managed to pull back Azhag at this point. The Goblin Wolf Riders are going to be continuing their assault against the Orc Boar Biggins, who are now being charged by our Savage Orc Boar Boys, who do have armor piercing, so I wanted them to try and take these guys out really quickly. And then the Night Squig Hoppers are going to assist our Savage Orcs against the other Savage Orcs over here. As the Giants are meeting up against my Savage Orcs, you see, this left flank over here is going to melt near instantly, this one Savage Orc. The Savage Orc Biggin that I have over here is going to hold out a little bit longer. There they are. I'm going to back this area up with our one group of unarmored trolls there. And then the Orc Arrow Boys are going to start firing into the Giant. Now, it has decreased melee stats in the forest, but I'm also not hitting it with as many missiles. One, for two reasons. Because we're in a forest, and two, because the Orc Arrow Boys are not as accurate as other missile units are. The Orc War Boss got hit with another Spirit Leech and is chasing off our Goblin Wolf Chariots away from the Rusty Arrows, but I'm going to follow up with the Savage Orc Boar Boy who did rout the Orc Biggin over here. The other Savage Orc Biggin is going to go into the Savage Orcs over here that are currently routing. My Night Squig Hoppers are assisting my Savage Orcs in fighting against, I guess, just this Goblin Big Boss, because we actually routed off the one Savage Orc that was over here. Giant is taking some damage from the two Orc Arrow Boys. For some reason, this unit moved forward. I don't remember giving it a move order, but it is getting into combat with these Savage Orcs. My left flank is totally crumbled. They still have the Orc Biggins over there. My Goblin Wolf Chariot is going to be coming back around from being chased off from the Orc War Boss, who's going to be popping their healing potion here soon. And this group of Savage Orc War Boys is trying to finish with the Chariot, and Azhag started. Meanwhile, Azhag, speaking of him, is going to get a really good charge off on this Goblin Big Boss, and they're going to withdraw from that fight. Third Giant totally unscathed. Second Giant is taking a little bit of damage from our Savage Orc Biggins he was fighting over here. And I'm just trying to pull out, or I will be pulling out my second Orc Arrow Boy away from these Savage Orcs, and I'm going to be pulling them out over here, trying to focus or refocus fire on the Savage Orc over there. The Night Squig Hoppers are still just fighting, I think, just a Goblin Big Boss, yeah. And they will be fighting a little bit with these Orc Biggins as I continue to harass their big bosses. Because the big bosses I kind of fear, because they're pretty good if used together. To bring down other heroes, so we're going to try and just kind of isolate them out here and murder them. Goblin Wolf Arch is coming in for a nice couple shots there. Meanwhile, the Goblin Chariot did a rear charge on the Savage Orcs that were over here. At least I think that's what they just did. And they're going to get pulled out, and I'm now going to use them to try and just keep the routing units continuing to rout them. Orc War Boss is back up to near full health because of the potion that they popped. My Orc Arrow Boys are finally getting out of this dangerous situation and to try to continue to apply damage to the Giant. I try to do a charge here with Azhag to finish him off. I'm going to get a shot in, but you do not want Azhag in a prolonged melee combat against the Giant. I just wanted to charge in and try and finish it off real quickly, because the Giant will destroy Azhag in one-on-one. Over here, my two Goblin Big Bosses are going to give harassment to this Orc War Boss as these other two Giants are coming in here. I'm withdrawing Azhag, I believe. He should be... There he is. He withdrew from that combat. Goblin Wolf Archers, I believe, are almost out of ammunition. They are firing into the... They should be into the Giant, yeah. Wrong Giant. They probably should be firing into this one, but they are still firing into the Giant. My Goblin Wolf Chariot is just out here, continuing to rout and break these routing units. They're going to get into these Savage Orcs, and then they're going to get into the Rusty Arrows a little bit later. This is a perfect thing for them to do. Very low mass, or low density, I should say, units for them to just kind of chariot through. Azhag is going to just kind of hit the backline of the Orc Biggin group that is still remaining. Meanwhile, we still have our Wolf Rider Archers going into the Giants. This one Giant we did manage to kill somewhere around here. One of the Giants fell, I think, right there. So now we have the second Giant trying to chase off our Orc Arrow Boys. The third Giant is in here with the Orc War Boss, and the Goblin Big Boss is trying to wrap up our Savage Orcs, of which we still have quite a few. I think we still have a Savage Orc Biggin, too. Yeah, there we go. We have a Biggin who is anti-large. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. Who is an anti-large unit, so they do pretty well against Giants. I had to check because I never bring them. I had to make sure I was saying the right thing. You can see our Goblin Big Bosses have taken some damage from just combat here and there, but they're going to redouble their efforts against the Orc War Boss. You can see they can do a lot of damage. And then Azhag is going to apply another Spirit Leash just as an icing on the cake, and he's going to charge down. Goblin Wolf Chariot is still out here, just dealing a bunch of damage to the Rusty Arrows and all the Savage Orcs out here. Our Goblin Wolf Rider Archers have actually used all their ammunition and are now out of ammunition. I still have my Savage Orc Boar Boys. They have taken a beating, but they are still on the battlefield. You can see, and I have a temporary route, kind of like a mass route of all my Savage Orcs here. I am currently kiting the Giant here, just using whatever unit does need to move to fire at him, and that's it. You see this Goblin Big Boss is going to come over here to our Orc Arrow Boys. Orc Arrow Boys are decent melee fighters with a, 23 melee attack. They're not great. It's not really a great unit. I think they're too expensive for what they are, but They can kind of hold off their own the melee. But we're going to chase them with our 2 Goblin Big Bosses, and I believe Azhag as well. Yep. So this is our anti-hero death squad going in there. This giant is going to take some more fire from the inaccurate fire of the Orc Arrow Boys. What remains of our Savage Orcs and the Goblin Wolf Rider is going to charge into this one group of Orc Biggins who came back from routing. And then this one Savage Orc is keeping this giant at bay as we continue to try and just burst down this one giant. Look at all these arrows just kind of missing. Even at this close range. Come on, guys. But we are actually going to shatter them. The Unwanted. The just thrown in the trash units of the Greenskins came together and managed to net a victory here. But I was lucky. Very lucky. Like I said, I have a build when I go into a match. No matter what I face, I continue to stay with that build. Sometimes I get lucky, because usually these types of builds that I'm bringing are not good, are not optimal, are not normal. And sometimes I get unlucky. Like the last one I can think of is when I brought Bretonnian Knights of the Realm against the Warriors of Chaos. Now, understand for that match, I did not bring Bretonnia as a counter pick to Warriors of Chaos. I brought them in there because I was like, this is the unit I'm playing. Whoever we face, it's going to happen. And when I saw I was facing off against Warriors of Chaos, I was like, well, shit. This is probably going to be an uphill battle. I basically just counter-picked myself unless they bring a Marauder army. So I prayed very hard and deeply for them to bring a Marauder army. They did not. And, well, it went about as good as you can expect if you haven't seen that episode. You should go watch it. But this time I got lucky. This person, again, I believe, brought an anti-Black Orc build with the Rusty Error's idea, I guess, was to, you know, tie them down with the Savage Orcs, throw 3 different giants into groups of Black Orcs, which they could do really well against, and then just lower their armor a little bit with the Rusty Errors, and the Sundering ability doesn't really affect the front line of Savage Orcs because, again, they have 0 armor. But I did not bring a Black Orc build, so I managed to outnumber my opponent and get really good kills all around. But I got lucky. If this was a more traditional Black Orc build, I don't think I would have gotten nearly as lucky. But as it stands, the front line of Savage Orcs did pretty well. This one group of Orc Biggins did really well. The Orc Arrow Boys are focusing on the Giants. The Squig Hoppers, 47 kills is really good because they were fighting against Savage Orcs, so that's kind of an ideal unit for them. The Savage Orc Boar Boys did really well, 60 plus kills each. Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, 26 kills, most of those on Orc Biggins. The Trolls, And then the Goblin Wolf Chariot, 58 kills on a Goblin Wolf Chariot. But because I had him fighting against other goblins, because that's like one of the only units that these things can actually punch through and not get stuck on. So again, I got lucky there that my opponent even brought a Rusty Error. So this thing was a terror to any unit that was routed off the front line. It just picked them to pieces. Now, don't expect it to do that in every battle. Like, this is kind of a one-off thing. I've never seen a Goblin Wolf Chariot do nearly this well. But against other Goblin units, yeah, it can tear ass through them. So it managed to shine this one battle. You go, Goblin Wolf Chariot. Way to go. For Mars, the God of War, 61 kills in this Goblin Big Boss who was fighting off our Savage Orcs and our Night Squig Hoppers for a long time. I didn't really see what the Night Goblin Machine was doing for the most part, but we killed him at some point. I remember charging him once with our Goblin Big Bosses and I think Azhag. Maybe not Azhag, but I know our Goblin Big Bosses went on him at some point. Savage Orc line did about as well as mine did. The Biggins got kind of picked off by the Savage Orc Boar Boys and the Goblin Wolf Rider Archers. The Giants did pretty well, all things considered. We managed to snipe off their Archer support pretty quickly, and I Spirit Leech this Orc War Boss to death. I think I dropped 5 Spirit Leeches on the Orc War Boss throughout this battle, and then I dropped 1 Soul Blight in the middle of combat, kind of towards the middle of the battle. I dropped a Soul Blight in the middle of our lines, which is going to decrease their leadership, their armor, and their weapon damage. Of course, armor didn't really do much, but the weapon damage decreases is always nice. So good game to Mars God of War. Good game to these misfit, unwanted units that I will hopefully not be bringing in the future again. This is a fun one-off build, which, again, I got lucky. Listen, super lucky that this person didn't bring a bunch of Black Orcs. This would have been a totally different game. The only thing that could even touch Black Orcs would be these Savage Orc Boar Boys, but they would probably be shut down by a more traditional build that brought a Orc Boar Boy Biggin, and then the renowned Orc Boar Boy Biggin would probably shut down these Savage Orcs. I think. Unless I played it really well. I would probably, in that case, sacrifice like the Goblin Wolf Riders to take the charge of the Orc Boar Boy Biggins, and then charge these guys in with the Goblin support and Azhag. Like, I would devote most of my resources to win the Cav battle, because I would need these guys to kill Black Orcs. Anyway, that's an theoretical battle. That's not this one. Also, the Trolls would have probably done pretty well against Black Orcs. Anyway, Hope you enjoyed the battle. Let's just watch a quick cinematic view of the Azhag's Unwanted. Let's call it that. I do love Gobos, but the Goblin Wolf Rider Archer is not my favorite Gobbo unit. It's not very strong, but hey, it did do some work in this battle, because my enemy didn't really have any flying units to run them off. They only had one arrow unit in the center of their formation. So they were allowed to just kind of sit here and do their thing. The little Gobbo thing. Shooting into the back of these Orc Boar Biggins. Or Orc Biggins, son. Boar boys. A 1,000 needles. And even got these guys over here. So I think this player was actually maybe going to just stay in these trees until I continued to just snipe their hero with a bunch of spirit leeches. Honestly, this would have been a great spot for me to fight him, though. If they had their entire army in the tree line, including all 3 of their giants, that would have been amazing. Let's get close up on these guys. You don't see them ever. Look at these little dudes. Oh, here we go. An Azhag, man. I never see this dude anymore. Haven't for a long time. He doesn't have potions. Potions are just the meta right now. Look at this charge. Goblin Wolf Chariot charge. Woots. So cool. Because they can actually work against other Gobbos. Some of these night squig hoppers just murdering these savage orcs from behind. You know what? Hold on. I just realized this is going to perhaps be a little confusing. Let's do alliance colors. I should be yellow, and the enemy will be red. There we go. That's much. Yeah, there we go. That's much easier to tell. Some orc arrow boys, or error. Never see these dudes. Are you gonna fire? Or you... There's that big boss. Just tanking it up. Oh no, I missed the charge. Oh well. They got a charge off, that's all that matters. Way to go, Gobos. solid hit. Ooh. Ooh. I also did take the legendary item for Azhag that gives him poison damage at all times, by the way. Get him, big bosses. Another spear leash for you. And a charge. Woo! Into the Orc War boss. Stop yelling and start shooting, man. I guess maybe they weren't in the right firing arc. There we go. Charge him. All right. Run that piggin down. Oh, there we go. Alright. That's gonna do it, everybody, for Azhag's Unwanted. I will see you all in the next episode. Take care.